Good morning, everyone. Hello, friends. I welcome you back for today's live session. Please let me know that I am audible to everyone or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. So, I hope you have enjoyed the last 2 days holiday at home. Okay, so let us start. So, before I continue the last topic, let us take a recap of what we have seen in the Friday's live session. So we talked about the introduction to the data communication, what telecommunication means, what data refers. Then as a part of this data communication, we have seen the fundamental characteristics of the four fundamental characteristics of the data communication. And then we have seen what is the data representation and how the data will be flowed. So for data representation, we have seen how the different forms of data as a part of data flow, we have seen what are the types of transmission or what are the type forms of transmission. So it may be a simplex transmission, it may be a half duplex or full duplex. Then we talked about the types of network connection. So there are two types of network connection. So it is a point-to-point connection or multi-point connection. Then we started with the network criteria. So there are different network criteria parameters. So as a part of this, we have seen the performance parameter, reliability parameter, and the security parameter. And then we started with the different network topologies. So we have seen there are four basic network topologies. The first is mesh topology, mesh network topology, then the star network topology, burst network topology, and the ring network topology. So out of this four network topology, we have already seen the first two topologies, that is mesh network topology and the star network topology. And we concluded that the mesh network topology and the star network topology, they're basically a kind of point-to-point connection networks, right? Because in mesh network, we have seen that there are dedicated lines. Each device, each node on the network, they will be connected with each other using a dedicated cable. Okay, so there are some advantages and disadvantages that we have already listed in the last live session. And then some of the disadvantage of this mesh network topology, they have been resolved using star network topology. That is, a new concept is introduced, a central controller which is called as hub, which is introduced in the star network topology. So which actually reduces the overburden of infrastructure. Okay. So what is infrastructure? So infrastructure, I mean that lot of cables we required to connect each devices with each other, right? So that physical cabling, they have been reduced in the star network topology. Still, some sort of cabling is involved. But as compared to mesh network topology, the amount of cable which is required to connect the host or the nodes or the devices on the network is very less. Okay, because of this concept of central controller, which is called as hub. So one of the drawback that we have seen that if this station A want to send some message to D, then there is no direct link between A to D. So A will transmit the data to hub and hub will transmit the data to the D. So this central controller or the hub, it acts as an intermediate device between any two stations or any two nodes on the network. Okay, so the data has to be passed from this network controller or the central controller to source and destination. So that's all. So let us move to the next network topology. So the next network topology is called as the bus topology. So we recited all the network topologies to this topic are basically the point-to-point network topology, wherein a bus topology is basically it is a multi-point network connection. So in bus topology, a single cable is, it is the backbone of the entire network. You can see it here. This black solid line, this is basically a bus cable which connects all the devices on this network. Okay, and all these devices, they have been more than one devices. They have been connected with each other using this single bus cable. So this cable is basically the backbone of the entire topology. Now, how to connect the devices to the cable? So devices are connected to the cable by using this drop lines. So actually it is not shown in this figure, but this is a drop line. Drop line is basically called as the dotted line. So for what purpose drop line is used? So drop line is used to connect the devices to each other, right? So apart from drop line, the taps are used. Now, what is the role of tap? So tap has to play the major role in connecting the devices to the bus cable. So how tap connects the device, this station A, to the bus cable? So it basically tether the outer core of your bus cable, okay, and so that the sheathing of the cable, it will get open, the outer sheathing of the cable will get open, so as to make the contact to the metallic core of this bus cable. Okay, when this cable opens, okay, when we tether the cable, the outer part of the cable get open, and so that we can make a contact with the metallic core that is inside the cable, so as to physically connect the devices to the cable. Okay, so tap will be basically, it acts as a connector to the bus cable, and that's how the different devices on the bus network, bus topology, they have been added to the network. Now, as the signal passes through the cable, this cable, some form of heat is generated by the electric signal. Okay, and because of this, as soon as the electric signal passes away from the network far and far and far, so the strength of the signal will become weak, and at some point of time the electric signal will get lost. So that means we have to connect only a limited number of devices to this bus cable, and that is the biggest disadvantage of using the bus cable. Now, what is the advantage of using the bus network topology? The ease of installation. Remember, we do not need so many cables to connect the devices in the network or to form the network infrastructure. So that is one of the biggest advantage of using the bus topology. Now, again, coming back to the disadvantage of the bus topology, what do you think that what is the biggest disadvantage of the bus topology? Looking at this figure, can you tell me in the chat box that what is the biggest disadvantage of bus topology? You can type your answers in the chat box. I'll give you 2 minutes. You can type your answers in the chat box. All gets affected. Okay, one answer come. Okay, so Chetna is saying that okay, if one gets failed, everything will get affected. Good. Anything else? Others, please. This is a thought-provoking question to you or to you as well. Data transfer one by one. Security risk. Okay, good. Length of the cable is limited. Good. Anything else? Okay, so Purvi has given the very good answer. All are right answer, but on top of everything, this is what expected from this question. Good. Prathamesh has also given the good answer. Good, good, good. So all of you are right. So let me come back to this. Okay. So now the biggest disadvantage of this bus topology is that if the cable breaks, then the entire network will get dead. Okay, the entire network will be disabled and we no longer can transmit the packets across the network. So that means the devices, they will not be able to communicate with each other, and that's the biggest disadvantage of using the bus topology network. Okay, now this bus topology was it was introduced in the early local area network, which was introduced in the late 19th century. So that time the bus topology was used to create the LAN. Okay, and the basically the speed of LAN was very less, and that's the reason today you can see that the LAN with the bus topology, they are not very popular. Okay, hardly you will find somewhere as a part of demo to show you that how bus topology LANs were used. So hardly in the entire globe this topology, this LAN network or the bus topology network you will find. Okay, let's go back to the next point, that is ring topology. So ring topology is again you can say that point to multi-point network topology. Only the fact in the ring topology is that every node is connected to other two devices on the either side of that node. Okay, now what I mean, if I take this is node A or station A, so in a ring topology, the node A or station A will be connected to its adjacent nodes. So now which are the adjacent nodes of A? So B and C are the adjacent node of A. So A is connected by using cable to its adjacent node only. The same way, the B is connected with C and A by using two cables. In the same way, the C is connected with A and D using two cables. And finally, E is also connected with D and C using these two cables. Okay, this cable and this cable. So this also forms a multi-point connection. But here you can say that the network installation is very easy. That is, any small change that you want to do in the network, you can do it easily. Why? Because let's say that I want to add a new node that is called as F. So what I will do, I will just remove this cable and I will connect this device F with D and E. Why? Because I feel that F has the adjacent nodes D and E. Okay, so adding and removing the devices from the the ring network is very easy. Okay, and that's how we can say that a lot of cabling is also reduced. So physical network infrastructure cost is gradually reduced in a ring network topology. Well, then you can see that there is this station or these nodes, they are connected to other nodes using the small concept called as, or using a small device called as repeater. Now, what is the role of repeater? So as soon as the station, it receives the data, okay, which is to be transmitted from let's say that we'll take an example that A has prepared a data to E. Let's say that this is M. So now when A sends the data to E, so first there are two paths, okay, and the signal travels in this ring only in one direction. Okay, it may be either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So data will be travel or data will be transmitted only in one direction. So A has decided to transmit the data via B, C, and then it will reach to E. In that case, when B receives the data, the repeater device of this node B, it actually amplifies the signal. Why? Because it has assumed that when signal travels through the cable, there may be some loss of signal or the loss of information during the transmission. Why? Because the electrical signal, they may produce some energy. Due to energy secretion, the heat is generated, and due to that the data may get some the data may be lost. Okay, and that's the reason the signal, the electrical signal will get amplified by using this repeater. So what repeater do? So repeater, it regenerates the original bits of the data and it passes it to the C, next device C. C again will do the same thing. The repeater of the C station or the C device or the C node will again repeat the same process and passes it to the E. Even the repeater of E will also repeat the same process because there may be some data loss or information loss during the transmission of data from device D to C to E. So the repeater of E will also amplify the electrical signal, or you can say that it regenerates the original beats of the electrical signal and then passes it to the device E. And then the destination device E will display it on its monitor. Okay, so that's what ring topology is all about. Okay. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of ring topology? Can anybody tell me? What are the advantage and disadvantage of ring topology? Yes.
Adding and removing of devices are very easy.
Very good, very good. So adding and removing the devices is very easy in ring topology. Anything else?
Installation cost is high.
Information loss is very high. Very good. Okay, good. Now, have you thought of that? How do fault is identified in the ring network? How do the network administrator has any facility to identify the fault within the network? Yes. So that's what a point of next point of discussion. Remember, generally in a ring, a signal is circulating at all the times. So if one device does not receives a signal within a stipulated period, then it can issue an alarm, and this alarm actually alerts the network operator to the problem and its location. So that's one of the advantage of using the ring network topology. So fault identification or a problem identification and tracking is very easy in ring network topology. However, because of the unidirectional traffic, we can say that the ring topology may not be the best, right? Because of its nature of flowing the data in the one direction only. We cannot use the bidirectional data transmission. So in a simple ring, a break in the ring can disable the entire network, and you can see that because there is a central cable which actually connects all these devices together. So if that ring breaks, then the entire network will get disabled. So this weakens, and this problem, it can be resolved by using the dual ring or a switch capable of closing up the break. Ring topology was very prevalent when IBM introduced its local area network, that is token ring, using the token ring. So today, the need for higher speed LAN has made this topology very less popular. So let's go to the next topology. I hope you have understood this. So let's go to the next topology, that is the hybrid topology. So hybrid topology, you can see in this figure. In hybrid topology, we can have a main star topology with each branch connecting several stations using the bus topology, right? So that's the only difference, and that's the reason this topology is called as the hybrid topology. Why? Because the two different network topologies, they have been used here, and you can easily see here that the star network topology and the bus network topology, they have been combined together. Their best characteristics, or you can say that their best features, they have been used, and by merging their two features, the best features of these two topology, a new network topology is introduced, which is called as a hybrid topology. So hybrid network topology, it is basically a combination of star network topology and the bus network topology. And we know that these are the let me take a pen so that I can explain you. Okay, I'll use the mouse. So these are the bus cables, which are the backbone of the entire network. So there are 3 bus cables used, and there is one central controller, which is called as hub, is used in this network. So this is basically a combination of star network and the bus topology. Okay, so that's all from the hybrid network topology. I hope any problem in the network topology. So we have seen 4 basic topology, and on the top of it we have seen the 5th network topology, which is called as the hybrid network topology. Is there any question? If you have any question in network topology unit, topic, then please you can share your question in the chat box or unmute your mic and you can ask. No problem. Is there any problem? Anybody can unmute the mic and please tell me. Yes, 4 students are saying no problem, but we have a class of 70 students, so I need the answer from all the students. You just okay. So somebody saying, Shrushti is saying that can you explain in short? So mesh network topology and the star network topology, they are basically a point-to-point connection network topologies. Now, if we compare mesh network topology and the star network topology, then you can find that mesh network topology is very best, okay, because the dedicated links are exist between all the nodes. Okay, for example, there are 5 nodes, then every node will be connected with each other using a dedicated line. So there won't be any problem of network traffic or a network congestion, or if traffic overheads, then network performance degrades. So that problem is not really there with the mesh network. But what is the problem? The biggest disadvantage is that the installation of the mesh network topology is very expensive, because you need a high network infrastructure, like you need a lot of cables. Okay, if I want to connect the 5 devices with each other using the mesh network topology, then I need the 10 cable. Okay, now this problem of expensive network installation or expensive network cost, it has been reduced in star network. So what star network is doing? So if there are 5 devices, then we need only 5 cables to connect the to install the network. Now only the new concept is introduced in the star network, that is a device called as a central controller, which is typically a hub. It is used to connect these 5 devices, and the data transmission will take place every time through this central controller. So it doesn't matter who is sending and who is receiving, that data transmission has to be happen through the intermediate device called as hub or central controller. That is the star network. So you can say that in mesh network, to connect the 5 devices, we needed 10 cables, but in mesh in a star network, we need only 5 cables to connect the 5 devices with each other. So 50% of cost is reduced in star network, but still we can say that some amount of cabling is required. We have not made the cost zero, or we have not made the optimal cost of the network installation. That's the reason. Then bus topology was the next. Now, in contrast to this mesh and star network, the bus topology is basically a multi-point connection network. Okay, it uses the multi-point connection network that we have seen what is the point to point and multi-point. So in bus topology, what is happening? We are using a single cable, okay, which is used to connect all the devices. Fine. Now, how these devices will be connected? So two small concepts are evolved in the bus topology. We need a drop lines and we need a taps. So taps is what? Tap is basically a connector which connects the device, which connects the host or node or station to the bus cable, and this cable, this central cable, is the backbone of the entire network. So every device will be connected to this bus cable using the tap and the drop line, and the data transmission will take place. Fine. Now if the cable breaks, we are talking that one of the problems in the bus topology is if the central cable, that bus cable, which is the backbone of the entire network, if it get break, then what will happen? Then we can say that the entire network will go down. Okay, the entire network will get disabled. On top of this, what are the advantage and disadvantage of bus topology? So the advantage and disadvantage of bus topology is that it is very easy to add and remove the host or the stations or the nodes in the network. That is one of the one of the advantage of using the bus topology. And we know that because we are using the connectors which actually tether the cable and connect the device to the metallic core which is inside the cable. So that's the reason whenever the signal, the electric signal which get passed through this central bus cable, okay, due to the energy it produces the heat, and that's the reason as long as the electric signal travel along, it get weak, and at some point it will be lost. Okay, the complete electrical signal will get lost. Fine, and that's the reason there is a limitation on how many devices, how many connectors we should use in the bus topology. So that is the bus topology. And the last one, that is the ring topology. Ring topology is also a multi-point connection topology in which every node is connected to other two devices which are adjacent to it, which are either side of it, which may be on the left side or on the right side. So if I am saying that I am device A and I want to connect to B and C, okay, so I have to ensure that B is on my left and C is on my right. Okay, so I can connect to only B and C. I cannot connect myself to D, E and F. Okay, that is the ring topology. Whereas the central ring is used, which actually connects all the devices with each other. Okay, indirectly, and the data transmission will take place in a unidirection, in only one direction, uniform direction. Okay, the data will not transmit it in both the direction. It's not like that A sends the data to E via B and via E. No, that's not possible. So A should send the data either via device B or via device C. That is the ring topology. And the last network topology, that is the hybrid network topology, which we have discussed. It is basically the combination of the star network and what? The bus network. Okay, bus topology. So it is basically combination of star topology and the bus topology. So using this two topology, the new network topology is introduced, which is called as the hybrid network topology. Is it clear? Now you can type in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the next, that is different types of network that we are going to discuss in this session. So the computer networks, they are created by different entities. So some standards is required so that this heterogeneous network, they can be communicated with each other, or they can be linked with each other. So the two best known standards are the OSI model and the TCP/IP reference model that we are going to see as a part of the end topic of this unit. Then we'll see there are different categories of the network. So today when we speak of networks, we generally two pictures are we do visualize in our mind. That is two primary categories of the network. That is, one is the local area network, that is LAN that you are using in the labs, okay, maybe at the internet cafe or maybe at your home, where the 2 or 3 devices within your home, they have been connected using some cables. Well, so that is very widely used term, LAN, local area network. The category in which a network fall is determined by its size. So how do we decide that this is the LAN network and this is the WAN network? So we categorize them based on its size. So a local area network, normally it covers an area less than 2 meters, whereas a wide area network, it can cover a miles. Okay, it can cover a kilometers. Now, any network of size in between are normally referred as the metropolitan area network, which spans 10 of miles, okay, which may be of 9 kilometers, 10 kilometers, or you can say that 20 kilometers. Okay, so any network of size between LAN and WAN, that is local area network, and the wide area network, is considered as MAN, that is metropolitan area network. So here in this figure, you can see that this is an isolated local area network which is connecting 12 computers to a hub in closest. Okay, so every computer is connected to this hub, or this is central controller, and these are total 12 devices in this LAN. Okay. So a local area network is usually privately owned and it links the devices in a single office, building or campus. So depending on the needs of an organization and the type of technology used, a LAN can be as simple as 2 PCs, or it may be a printer in someone's home office, or it can extend throughout a company and includes the audio and video peripherals. So currently the local area network size is very limited to a few kilometers. LAN are designed to allow the resources to share between the personal computer or the workstation. So you can share the information, you can share the video, audio, you can share the image, and so on. So the resources to be shared can include it may be hardware, it may be software. So hardware, what do I mean? Printer, scanner. Software, I mean application program, that if you are using the Microsoft Word application program, you are using Notepad, you are using something else. So the resources that is to be shared between the computers within a local area network, it may be a software, it may be a hardware. So a common example of LAN found in many business environments, which links a work group or a task related computers. We are connecting one LAN to another LAN and so on. So in addition to size, the local area network, they are also distinguished from other type of network by their transmission media and the topology used. So in general, a given LAN will use only one type of transmission medium. And the most common LAN topologies are bus topology, ring topology, and the star topology. So early, the local area network, they had data rates in the 4 to 16 megabits per second. So you can imagine. So when LAN was introduced and when it has employed the bus topology, or it was built using the bus topology, it has a speed of 4 to 16 megabits per second. Now today, however, the speeds are normally, it is fluctuating between 100 Mbps to 1000 Mbps. So imagine how much progress has been done in the networking, right? So earlier we were using the LAN, which has the speed of 4 to 16 megabits Mbps per second. And now today we have the LAN, which has the capacity of transmitting the data at the rate of 100 to 1000 Mbps. Okay, so wireless LAN are the newest evolution in the LAN technology. Okay, this is new concept. So we'll discuss this wireless local area network later in the second or third unit. Then we'll go to the next type of category of network, that is the wireless wide area network. Sorry. So a wide area network, it provides a long distance transmission of data, image, audio, and video information over a large geographic areas that may comprise a country or a continent or even the whole world. So WAN, a wide area network, can be as complex as the backbone that connects the internet, or it may be as simple as the dial-up network connection that we used to have in the early 21st century. So we normally refer to first the wide area network was initially it was referred as the switch wide area network, and then it was also referred as the point-to-point wide area network. So that's the reason these are the two different categories or the classes of the wide area network. One is normally referred as the switch WAN and other is referred as the point-to-point WAN. Now the switch WAN, it connects the end system, which usually comprise a router that connects the one LAN to the other LAN, or maybe one LAN to some wide area network. Then point-to-point, which is shown in this figure at the bottom part. So this is point-to-point WAN and this is switched WAN. So point-to-point WAN is normally a lease line from a telephone or a cable TV provider that connects the home computer or a small local area network to the internet service provider. So this type of wide area network, point-to-point wide area network, is often used to provide the internet access. That is very important. So an early example of the switch WAN is the X.25 network, which was designed to provide the connectivity between the end user. So we'll see in detail X.25 in detail later in the next unit's discussion. A good example of switch WAN is the asynchronous transfer mode network, that is your ATM network. Now, which is a network with the fixed size data unit packets called as the cell. Then we'll come to the last part, that is the metropolitan area network. So a metropolitan area network is a network with the size between LAN and a WAN, and it normally covers the area inside a town or a city. Now it is specifically designed for the customers who need the high speed connectivity, normally to the internet, and they have the endpoints spread over the city or the part of the city. A good example of the metropolitan area network is the part of telephone company network that can provide a high speed DSL line to the customer. So what is the DSL line? What is DSL line? DSL line is basically a digital subscriber line. Okay, so there was along with the this LAN, MAN, and that is a heterogeneous internet. Okay, internetwork. There was one more concept, that is the MAN, which actually uses the digital subscriber line. So digital subscriber line is again a central cable that connects the different hosts in the network. Okay, so that's all from the MAN, and this is the last topic, that is a heterogeneous network, which is made up of 4 wide area network and 2 local area network. So you can see here clearly. Let me take a pen and we'll finish this topic. Okay, so these are the 4 WAN. This is one WAN. This is another point-to-point WAN. This is a switched WAN. These are the routers. This LAN, these 2 LANs, they have been connected to this switched WAN using these routers. So this is the router on the LAN, this LAN sites. This is the router of this LAN site, which connects this LAN to this internetwork. And you can see that this is point-to-point WAN. This is, so there are 4 WAN, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there are 2 LAN, 1 and 2. So if we connect this entire network together, it forms the internet. So I hope you got the idea how internet is made up of. So internet is basically nothing but internetworking of different network, connecting a different heterogeneous network with each other forms the internet. Understood? So why they are called as the heterogeneous network? Because these are the different types of network. LAN is different from WAN. then WAN is different from man is different from LAN, and so on and so forth. And that's the reason these are the different types of network. So this LAN may have ring topology, this LAN may have mesh topology, this WAN may have you can say that hybrid topology, this WAN may have you can say that the bus topology, and so on. So we are connecting different types of network together, which forms the internet. So that's all from this session. If you have any problem in today's topic, please give me your questions in the chat box. Let me know your question in the chat box. Type your questions so that I can answer. Please. So we have 1 minute more to take your questions, and then we'll stop. Or you can unmute your mic. Anybody can unmute their mic and please ask me the question. So friends, that's all from the first unit of the first topic, that is the introduction to the communication theory. In the next live session, we'll discuss on the next topic called as data and signal, the basics of data and signals. So no problem. Okay, so Krishna Kandhar is saying that, sir, can you explain the LAN again? So local area network, see, there are different categories of network. First category, which is widely known and used across the world, is the local area network. Now, local area network, how it is different from the wide area network? The size. The size of your network decides in which category that network falls. If the size of your network, if it is let's say that very less than 2 meters, or you can say that 3 meters or 4 meters, then I will consider that network as a local area network. The word itself says that the local area network. Now this LAN is used for different purpose. Within LAN, you can share the data from one system, one machine to other machine. You can share the softwares, you can share the hardware of your system. Hardware, what I mean is here, you can share the memory. Okay, what I will do, suppose there are 12 machines in our lab, and they are connected with each other using a LAN technology or using some network topology called, let's say, ring topology. So what we will do, we'll share the data from one system to another system. I can share the software of one system. I can share the hardware of that system. I may use some processing capacity. I may use the memory of that system. I may use the temporary memory of that system, like a RAM. I will use that. So there are different resource sharing take place in LAN. And LAN, local area network, it is basically connected to some internet. Okay, how it becomes, how we can share the data across the world using the LAN. So it is possible only when your local area network, it is connected to some internet by using the internet service providers services. So you need the internet service provider for that purpose, who connects your LAN to the internet. So for example, now in our college, in our institute, we are using the lease line of BSNL. So we have different labs. We have 12 labs in the information technology. Now each lab forms the local area network. All these 12 labs, they have connected to the router of our institute, and our institute router is connected to the BSNL's router. Okay, and that's how our entire college private network, it is connected to the public network via the internet service provider. Who is internet service provider in this case? BSNL, or maybe the Reliance is the internet service provider for our institute. So I hope this is clear. So Krishna is saying your voice is breaking. Krishna, am I audible now? Can you unmute your mic? Hello? Krishna, can you unmute your mic and please tell me, am I audible? Yes or no? Can anybody please tell me?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you're
sir.
audible.
So Krishna, you tell me, do you understood what is LAN? Type in the chat box. I think Krishna had some local connectivity issue. So I would recommend you, because we are running late, other students, you have to join the next lecture. So I will stop here, and thanks for patiently listening me. So I would recommend the Krishna to watch my video, this live sessions video on the YouTube. I will probably till the evening, I will upload this live sessions video on the YouTube channel. So, and one more thing, all of you have subscribed the channel. Did you subscribe the channel? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So there is no need to post the messages on the WhatsApp group. So whenever I upload any video on my channel, the updates will be given to you. You will be updated with that, so you can watch that video. So thanks a lot for patiently listening this. So have a good day ahead. Have a pleasant day, and see you soon in the next live session. Thank you. Good day.